What the fuck is up? Higher point of view here. It is your West Coast Packer backer, and you already know what it is. My partner in crime has an inquiring mind. Shout out to TR. And this is the first post-season episode. Not post-season, but, post end of the season episode of Inquiring Minds. We're here to talk about the Packers. TR, how are you?
I'm doing really good. It was a beautiful day up here in the upper Midwest. And as we found out, we got some news about the Packers earlier today that we'll talk about later. So I'm excited to get going.
Hey, let's do it. Fire away. What you got for me?
Well, first of all, on your streams, we've been kind of going back and forth a little bit in a very friendly way about the David Bakhtiari injury. I think there's a lot of confusion about what actually happened with his injury and what has transpired over these last 3 years with the injury. So I thought it would be interesting for us to take a little deep dive and talk about what the man himself said.
I'll just go back to the beginning. December 31st, 2020, tore my knee in practice. Ended up being a ACL, a little bit of my lateral meniscus. Like, I think I think it was like they took out like 10-15%. Nothing big on that. The issue came from my lateral femur. I took out some cartilage, and that is where we're at today, dealing with that. Now, going through the process, that's why I kept saying it's never been about my ACL, it's never been about that. Everything's always been good. It's been, for all of us, myself included, trying to figure out, is this an issue that needs to be addressed or no? Every single time we could get out of the weeds with everything, because obviously you have to get over the ACL. We hit that, and then other things came up, scar tissue, so we have to go in and clean it out. And then there's atrophy with that. So the ability to truly assess, is that a problem? Now fast forwards us to where we are today. Because obviously I had a couple clean outs, we couldn't tell. Now at this point, finally my breather was, in the off season, I'm able to actually have strength in my leg. I don't think to give most people an idea, when you have surgery, there's atrophy, and then when you have to compound multiple surgeries, there's multiple atrophy you have to get over. So that's why it was hard for any of us to really see, and if we didn't have to do it, great, then we don't have to address the point. Now we're at a point now where it's clearly evident that that's the issue, and it's unfortunate. I hate it. I know the club hates it.
Yeah, so that was a little video from the man himself. What's your gut reaction to what this interview said?
That everybody is frustrated,
Yeah.
It's a problem. They know it's a problem, and they've been trying to figure it out. And it might not have worked in the most, speediest way that it normally should or would. And it just seems like seems to me like it was kind of an unexpected setback. And again, that's what he was talking about is a total different language for me. But yeah, it just seems like there was a setback in some way with this whole thing. And, just me just kind of feeling sorry for him that it's worked out this way, because a lot of people kind of forget, how great he is, because it's like, what have you done for me lately? We haven't seen you in so long, but this man was the highest paid tackle at one point. So you kind of respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, we're both frustrated, just like a bunch of Packer fans, and the man himself is certainly. I guess what I took out of the video is that, first he described the ACL tear, which if people don't know what the ACL is, it's the ligament that attaches like your upper leg to your lower leg. So without that ligament in place, you have no stability in the knee. So first they had to repair that, and secondly, he was talking about meniscus and cartilage that was also damaged. And when he talked about the inability to assess, the way I understood that is that it had to heal and get to a certain point before they could even decide whether or not to go in and remove more meniscus and cartilage. And what those things do in the knee is it's kind of like a shock absorber again between your upper and lower leg. So if you have no cartilage and meniscus, you're going to get like bone on bone grinding, which is the worst case scenario. So
Not good.
I guess go ahead.
No, I said not good.
Yeah, not good. Especially if you don't like dealing with a lot of pain. Now, these dudes deal with a lot of pain all the time, but I just think we all want him to be back. And I know I want him back on this team. I think you do, but what are your thoughts about his status on the team and in his contract?
Obviously, the status on the team, especially on this team, again, youngest team in NFL, this and that. So we need all kind of vets, and he's just more than a vet, especially for this team. And it's just like, we've been this patient this long. Why not just wait it out? Another year is off, but absolutely, it was even brought up in a different interview with him, restructuring his contract. And he's got to be, he's got to be willing to do so. He didn't say yes immediately. Obviously, he's a businessman. He has an agent. That's the agent's job to talk about that. But as far as on the field, just let me know. The last time you seen him, how did he look? He looked good. The last time you seen him before that, how did he look? He looked good, even with rustiness and even with him being out for how long he was out. The last time we seen him, he looked good. I could see if he went in there and wasn't himself, and we're just like, oh, if he was healthy, he would have been great. But he came in and was great and wasn't being healthy and had a lot of 15 to 18 times getting his knee drained. I hate, again, I got, a lot of tattoos, but I don't like unnecessary needles. That's a bad situation, TR.
Yeah, absolutely. And you make an excellent point because he was great when he wasn't 100%. So heck, yeah, give the man a chance to heal up and get it right. And let's see if he wants to play, number one. And if he wants to play as a Packer, then let him come back. And let's kick some ass, right?
Definitely.
So I think we've beaten this to death a little bit, but I think what I found interesting is that, the body reacts differently with different people. And everyone in this situation was just trying to do the best they could. And I think these athletes have the best surgeons, doctors in the world. There's just so much money tied up in them that if these doctors can't figure it out and get it right, no one can.
Definitely. And it was said that he got multiple opinions. So it's not like he just went to one, so hey, you're right about that, TR.
With that said, I wanted to ask you a different question. I wanted to change subjects. We recently fired the strength and conditioning coach, which raises the question in my mind, what does a strength and conditioning coach really do? What impact do you think this coach would have on the organization?
Well, just in general, strength and conditioning coaches are very underrated as coaches, and their job means a lot more than a lot of people think. They pretty much set the tone early with the whole football team because they don't just start the season off in September when they're kicking the ball off the first game. The season starts well before X's and O's, well before even coaches get in. When you walk into the weight room when you're doing off-season training, your strength and conditioning coach is in there. He's supposed to be in there to help you with your diet. Like from my, I've had a good one. I think from my time, like of having a strength and conditioning coach, as soon as you walk in the morning to the weight room, what'd you eat this morning? What are you going to eat when you leave here? How's your diet? What are you trying to do? He's asking questions that you think have nothing to do with football, and you think he's being annoying. And, they set the tone early, basically, and they can help you with technique, your diet, stamina, and just to be ready to play a football game.
Yeah, we both played football and played the game. I was not in a situation where I was exposed to higher levels of strength and conditioning, but I find it pretty fascinating because I think the assumption with a lot of Packer fans is that if our guys are getting a lot of soft tissue injuries, it's probably something to do with the strength and conditioning, which is why I asked the question. I would think that at the professional level that they have all sorts of scientists and nutritionists to help them with their diet, and that probably has to go hand in hand with the strength and conditioning, as you mentioned. So I would imagine these coaches are in charge of setting up programs both for weightlifting and stretching and cardio fitness. I
Also,
go ahead.
Also improving, you could go to them and say, hey, I'm trying to improve, my block shedding. Oh, okay, well, you need to do the incline bench. Oh, you need to do this bench. I'm trying to improve on my get off, coach. I'm a defensive lineman. Oh, well, you're coming off of your you go work on your calves. Let's do some stuff to work on your, let's do some lunges. They can help with a lot. And they give you the right one is supposed to show you how to lift weights with technique. And if you lift weights with technique and you do that with technique, it's the same when you're doing drills. And I just think it unknowingly kind of helps when you're doing drills too. Again, you don't want to lift weights the wrong way because you can hurt yourself. So when you're doing drills, you don't want to do that the wrong way because you can also hurt yourself. I've gotten a stinger just hitting the machine,
Oh, sure. That's a good point and something I haven't really thought of. I think it's pretty obvious if we're reading between the lines that Coach LaFleur and the organization didn't feel this coach was giving the team what they needed to avoid these soft tissue injuries. And specifically, it seems like the hamstring injuries were the biggest concern we had with some of our stars.
Stretching routine definitely would be a big part of that. If some people could spend an hour just stretching, and that's a workout, but you need to stretch properly, especially if you're running at the speeds that these guys are. Like, some people are too fast for their own good. Who's having problems? Christian Watson, one of the fastest person on the team. Eric Stokes, one of the fastest person on the team. So
yeah, these tall, thin, really fast guys who are probably wound a little tight, right? So
definitely
they probably need a little more TLC with obviously the stretching and the limberness of the muscles. And let's hope the new guy or lady who comes in and guides this team gets them on the right path. To switch subjects quick, I wanted to talk about the unrestricted free agent list we have. I wanted to get your take of the 12 unrestricted free agents we have set to hit the market. Are there some players on that list that you think we need to sign and bring back?
Absolutely. I'll start off offensively. I think AJ Dillon, some people say there's a lot better out there. We could get somebody better, but our thing is, what are we asking him to do? He's a good backup, and that's what we found out over these 4 years, or however long he's been under somebody who can spell Aaron Jones, because we know Aaron Jones has injury history. He'll be cheap. He's already a leader on the team. He's a guy who kind of came in around the time LaFleur came in. But I know he's one of the guys who's if and or maybe as far as, he might go or not. But I want him on the team. Yash, I'll keep him also for depth. and not depth, good depth. I am okay with somebody's out, Yasha starting against any team. Like, even if it's the Lions or another top tier team, he's proven that if your top guy is out, he's subbed in many times for Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins or whoever we needed him to, and he's for the cheap. So I will keep Yash Nyman. Same for John Runyon. I will keep him too for the same. Rotational guy, not who I'm looking to start, but again, in a pinch, somebody's hurt, he can come in. He knows the system. He's good. He knows Steno, and yeah, that's what I got for the offense. And you have any input of that, or you want me to hit you with the defense?
Well, hit me with the defense. I just brought up the list of unrestricted free agents. You hit a couple of them, but just doing a quick glance, if there's anyone else that you think we must re-sign.
A must re-sign for me. This is boring, but on the defensive side, Eric Wilson. Number one, re-sign his ass for just being a headsy guy and having a headsy play for a game we should have won, where Keyshawn Nixon returned it, almost took it to the house, fumbled it. He jumped right on it with no problem. That's just showing awareness. That's number one. So special teams guy, we need core special teams guy. He can be that. And it looks like the big lights are not too big for him. So if we need him in a pinch to come in there and sub in at linebacker, we needed Eric Wilson. And of course, Ballantyne, Corey Ballantyne, threw him in there like a deer in the headlights, Rasul's gone. What can you do? And he was up for the challenge, him and Valentine. But we're talking about, unrestricted guys. Got to keep him around. As far as, returner Keyshawn Nixon, all I got to say is all pro. We're not talking about nickel. We're not talking about him playing defense at all. At least I'm not talking about it. Sometimes people get put in a bad position. Amari Rodgers a couple years ago, he should not have been returning balls. Maybe he could have been a good third down, a possession receiver. If he was put in that position, we would never know. But they were putting him at punt returner. That's the same thing with Nixon. He's a great returner. Defense shouldn't have been there as much, I don't feel, but that's that. And Rudy Ford. We got Savage and Owens. I'm going to X them both out. Savage, again, leader to me. If he was to stay, it would be because of his leadership, and I wouldn't mind it. And again, he kind of like he's grown into a man on the field to where he's the one chirping at other guys on offense. You need that confident guy, especially in a secondary, who's gonna talk shit to the other team. But he could be on his way out. And Owens just didn't show enough, and the time we gave him, and I would keep Rudy Ford because it seems like Rudy Ford to me is more of a ball hawk than them two. And with this defense, I think we need a ball hog. We've been missing out on one, and then we're going to probably need to draft one. But I say Rudy Ford, we keep him. So Savage and Owens might be on the way out. Although I love Savage, I wouldn't mind him being back.
Okay. Well, you definitely sound like a guy who, hey, let's keep as many of these guys as we can. And
perfect saying that, TR, because I'm sorry, I forgot to say, we were cooking too. Like toward the end of the year, even though these guys are these guys, like we were cooking something good. Let's not stop that. Let's not stunt that. We can add to it, but you don't want to lose too much of it. These are some resilient guys. And again, getting Savage will be more than what he could do on the field at this point. And, again, with communication, but again, it's also, up to, the direction of the defense that's going to go if Savage is, has the skills that are, DC wants, or if he's capable to do what he's asked to do. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. You make some good points there. If I take a different approach, I'm going to look at this list and say, you know what? I think we can get by without all of these guys. Would I take some of them back? I would say yes. I would like them as depth. But as I look at this list, I don't see anyone on the list that I think is definitely a must. AJ Dillon, great guy. I'd like to have him back, but if he's not back, I think we can manage. And the same goes with Savage, Owens, and John Runyon Jr. I would take some of these guys back, especially if they were special teams contributors. But in my opinion, I think we probably squeak by without them. But that also means that we have to really nail the draft again this year. And I expect
is that because you think that they've all hit their ceiling?
For the most part, I think we'll take Savage for an example. I think when Savage is playing his best, he's okay. I think when he's playing his worst, he's really bad. So I think of the range of potential he has is really bad to okay. And I would take the guy who's okay for depth, but I don't see him as someone that we definitely need to keep. To answer your question, I think the guys on this list have kind of reached their ceilings, and I don't see those ceilings as being high enough that we would need to keep them.
For sure. And again, definitely on another note, I think those guys are definitely replaceable for sure. But, I was just giving reasons on like why to keep them if we are,
Sure.
I wouldn't mind. But yeah, sure. We would definitely survive without all of them.
Yeah. And I do agree with you in the sense that a lot of these guys I would take back and it wouldn't upset me at all. But it's going to be an interesting offseason to see what they do with these guys, because that's a big list, but no superstars on there. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned and we'll talk about that later.
Definitely.
So the last thing I wanted to quickly ask you about is reactions to the new defensive coordinator. Earlier today, Packers Kingdom, Taylor Bell gave me the news that the Packers hired a new DC. I wanted to get your gut reactions on this. What do you think about this hire?
Same here. Shout out to Taylor Bell, Packers Kingdom. He told me so early. I'm looking everywhere. I'm like, I don't see that shit. Where the hell you see this at? And it seemed to be true. So shout out to him for that. Again, he need to be working for the damn Packers at some point. But hey, listen. First of all, Barry is gone. Everybody got what they want. So change is good. And it looks like it's going to be a change, because all I'm seeing with him is that he plays press man, something that we've all wanted Barry to do. And he would always do the opposite. We already know how that goes. And a roaming safety, meaning, I say the star position, which Barry kind of had, but in this guy's system, it's kind of like, like kind of like an Ed Reed deal. He kind of like roaming. He does what he wants. But again, somebody at that position has to be really knowledgeable and have great instincts to, as the play breaks down, go down and attack. They don't have a specific position. That's what I get from that star position. If it's true, they're different on different kind of teams, but that's what it's supposed to be. He was under Saleh at one point, and he was under Patton at one point. So as I said in earlier videos on this channel, you got to think it's going to be somebody LaFleur's familiar with. He doesn't even have to know them, but hello, he was Saleh's best man. Those are what people said at his wedding. That's kind of close. And then obviously Mike Patton, he has respect for, has worked, he's worked under him. I mean, Patton's worked under him. So that's an easy call. Like, hey, how's this guy? He must have heard enough. He exercised his options, He looked at a lot of guys. So again, I would just say, let's just put faith in our coach. At this point, we should know that he is a good coach, definitely serviceable, and we could win a lot of games with him. And we just always been that much away. And the last thing I'm gonna say about this coach is he's been around college and the pros. He's had a cup of tea at a lot of places. And to me, ain't enough football you can see. All those situations he's been in, got to know what he's doing by now. So that's what I got on him. TR, what are your initial, feelings about this guy?
Well, my first reaction to it was, boy, this dude came out of left field. I wasn't hearing anything about this dude, right? And the second thought I had was, Considering the timing of it, we also found out the Ravens defensive coordinator was hired as the coach of the Seahawks, is the head coach of the Seahawks. Is that correct?
Yes, I heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So I imagine the dudes they were looking at on the Ravens staff might be in line to take over the defensive coordinator position at the Ravens, which means they wouldn't be available to the Packers. So I'm wondering if LaFleur was his first choice, may have been one of those guys, but we'll probably never know. Like
It
you,
seems that way, PR. Good way to look at it. That's kind of how it seems, and that's okay too.
Yeah. From what I read about this new dude, and to be honest, I can't even remember his name. It starts with an L, I think, right?
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. I was mad. I was mad I didn't write it down, but I was trying to figure it out right now. I'm like, hey, but it's fresh, man.
Yeah.
But welcome. Let's give them a warm welcome to Green Bay, whatever your name is, DC. We're gonna say your name. We're gonna know your name for the rest of our lives, but we just don't know it right now. I forgot.
Yeah. I think what's also interesting, and you touched on this, is that he has been around. He's been a college coach, head coach, college DC, and he's also coached in the pros. And there is a little crossover between LaFleur's tree, or the Sala Shanahan tree, with this guy. He's still pretty young. I believe he's like 44, but he still has a lot of experience. So I think that's what we all wanted. We wanted someone who was a little on the younger side, but had some experience. The other good thing is, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You got to think that he's relatable too, because he just came from the college game. A lot of our kids are fresh out of college, and so will be the ones obviously we draft this year. So it's a good time to get him in now and, get his philosophy in and, give him what we need to give him to be successful. Hopefully we have a lot of the pieces that can do that for him.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of touched on what we know about his scheme a little bit, that he's going to play more press man-to-man coverage with a one high safety, a bit more of an aggressive style. He doesn't really have the outside linebackers like a 3-4 system does. So that kind of, to me, that means like Gary and Van Ness might play more with their hand in the dirt. And we talked about this recently, that we think that they both can do that.
He plays 4 down linemen. I forgot to add that. That's what he does.
Exactly. So another quick thought that gave to me is that some of the formations might require like 3 stacked inside linebackers, right? They might want to go to formations like that, which means I think we need to bring in a couple talented linebackers, whether through the draft or maybe adding someone as a free agent. So I find that interesting as well. But when you're playing a one high safety, I think we all know how important the pass rush is going to be. Because if you're not getting to the quarterback in a timely manner, you don't want to be leaving that safety out on an island against all these crossing patterns. So,
and TR, we kind of he's not a free agent, but we can do something with his contract. You just mentioned the inside linebacker position, so I'm kind of going to ask you now: Are you done with the Devondre Campbell thing? You don't think he can revive himself in any kind of way for we to keep him reconstruction or nothing like that? You ready to see him go and us to bring somebody else from the outside, from free agency or the draft?
Well, in my opinion, I think his contract is structured in a way that we don't gain a ton by letting him go. And in fact, there's a rather hefty dead cap hit, I believe, if we were to cut him after June 1st even. But we'd have to look into the details of that for sure. But I think the heart of the matter is that if he was indeed playing a little injured this year, he obviously wasn't himself. So I'm not ready to cut him loose. I'd like to see his body get healthy, and for him to come back with renewed vigor and see if he fits into the plans of this new DC.
I agree.
What do you think?
No, I agree with you. You know, if he was hurt, you got to take what a man says. And then you don't want, you know, this happened with us before. Again, you know, Micah Hyde, certain kind of players, we just like, you know, whether they was hurt or not, Hyde probably wasn't, we just let him go. But it's like, they might go flourish with somebody else, you know, and that's why I don't want it happening with Bakhtiari. Like, we put all this time in. So, you know, man, he reached all pro. It wasn't that long ago. You know, I think he deserves one more year under a new system to just see what's going on. Especially, like you said, we would have to look at the details of the contract. But just as a player and as a guy, again, silent leader, but he's a leader out there. The guys respect him on defense, and he's smart. You know, he's smart.
Yeah, and if my gut reactions to the linebacker situation is true with this new defensive coordinator, you're going to want talented linebackers, inside linebackers. So I guess we'll wait and see with that. But I think we both can agree, I think, that this new defensive coordinator scheme seems to be a 180 from the Joe Barry scheme. And I think that's what we were all begging for. So thank you, Matt LaFleur, for giving us fans what we want to see. And let's hope it works out.
Hey, people were asking, what is Matt LaFleur doing? Has he learned that? Has he learned anything? Well, clearly he just learned how to get a defensive coordinator that's opposite of what was the issue. So, you know, again, hopefully this hire satisfies people. The name value wasn't good. It wasn't a sexy pick. Damn it, we don't even know the name. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I didn't know Matt LaFleur when he came in, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that showed us a lesson that, you know, it ain't about name value. It's about X's and O's, and it's about scheme and what you're going to do to help us, you know?
Yeah. And let's be honest. None of us really know what goes behind the scenes and who really is a great coach and who isn't. We only see the results on the field and we hear chatter from the locker room, but that's about it.
Exactly. Hey, TR, we don't know shit.
But it's fun to talk shit and to speculate. So,
definitely.
Yeah, thanks so much for answering my questions and having a little talk about the Bakhtiari thing. I appreciate you humoring me there. So I just also wanted to mention to everyone that I please like, comment, and subscribe to Higher Point of View's channel. Let's get the word out. And if you don't like, comment, and subscribe, I think we're going to have Milto find you and make sure you do that.
Oh yeah, hey, Milto and John Bain they gonna get on that ass. So, you know, y'all got to make sure y'all like and subscribe. And you know, TR, I thank you for, you know, always, you know, spending this time with me so we can talk about what's going on about the Green Bay Packers, man.
Yeah, it's always great fun. I look forward to the next time we can talk.
All righty. Hey, until next time, y'all, we out of here.